Welcome back at the page of Sikhavanti International Academy, Sikar. I hope you all are doing well. So today we are going to start a new chapter of class ninth book movement. So in this chapter, we are going to talk about a very interesting character who is playing a role of king, and his another worker who is playing a role of minister, and both are so foolish. And these two foolish, a king as well as his minister. A minister is we can say a person who handle or who referred his all the orders to the his public. So this is a story, and the title of the story is In the Kingdom of Fools. So here it is said that the whole kingdom is considered to be known as fool, because if their king is fool, so that it is mandatory that their decision, their orders, all are foolish. So here, uh, what type of foolish activity you would go through it? First of all, my dear students, the prices of each and every product, whether if you want to buy a 1 kg wheat, rice, a ghee, or anything, all are in 1 rupees or 1 dudus, like according to their currency name. So this is the foolishness, because rice and wheat are so cheapest. It's almost 20 rupees, 5 rupees kg per kilogram, and the rice is more than approx at the same approx almost 30 to 40 rupees hike, like more than the price of rice as per the today. But in that period of time, that wheat and rice are same, and almost ghee, if I cost about the ghee, it's almost 700 rupees per kg, but here all are at 1 rupees. So how foolishness this is decision, and what the economically, how strong they will build up their kingdom. And the second decision which they have said that the both of them, what order they have referred to the public of their own kingdom, that in the daytime nobody will work, in the daytime everybody will sleep, even the cattle, and in the nighttime the whole people, the whole kingdom will do work in the different sectors. Even this is a matter of irrigation, if there is a matter of opening the market, so whole work will be done in the night. If somebody will caught, if somebody will be caught doing work in the daytime, then there is a punishment of death. So such type of restrictions, such type of rule and regulations were made, which were foolish, and in this chapter you will come to know. I hope you have heard this story earlier, but now come to the interesting facts of this story, and we will cover up each and every line, line by line. So in the kingdom, so before, it is believed that fools are so dangerous that only very wise people can manage them. uh, who are the fools in the story? What happened to them? So here it is said that, or it is believed that the fool people are so dangerous, and only a wise person means intelligent person, can manage them, can handle them. And so in this story, who is fool, and what happened to them? So in the kingdom of fools, both the king and the minister were idiots. Both were so idiots, so foolish. They didn't want to run things like the other kings. They do not want to run uh, according to the scenario, according to the procedure, as the other kingdoms, other kings run their business, they run their places. But they are totally different. They are so idiots. So they decide to change night into day and day into night. The order they that everyone should be awake at night, till their fields, and run their business only after dark. Go to bed as soon as the sun came up. So this is the foolish decision taken by the two idiots, the king as well as his minister. What was the decision? That the day will be counted in night, and the night will be counted as a day. So the that work which people generally do in the daytime, they will start their working at night time, and the nighttime work will be start in the daytime. Means sleeping should be in the daytime and working in the night time. All the workers, all the people of this kingdom, and go to bed as soon as the sun came. And when the sun came, they have to go to their beds. Anyone who disobeyed would be punished with death. If somebody will caught doing some work in the daytime, and he will be punished as a death. The people did as they were told to fear of death, and the people were following or persuaded the order of their king, as per they have so fear for their king that he will going to kill us. So all were going according to their order. The king and the minister were delighted, so happy. Delighted means so happy as the success of their project, whatever the project they have built or the order, it's going very smoothly. One day, a guru and his disciple means his student, or we can call it chela. The guru and chela arrived in the city. It was beautiful city. It was broad daylight, but there was no one about. No one about. Everyone was asleep. Not a mouse stirring, moving. Even the cattle had been taught to sleep by day. So one day, one guru here means saint. A saint and his disciple, a student, came to the temple, came to the city, and what they found that in the broad daylight, when the sun is totally at its peak time, in the noon time, they found that all the streets, all the roads were empty. None is shop, none a person, none a soul was wandering here and there. Everybody was sleeping. Even a mouse could not be visible, because the mouse always look for its prey, for food. Even mouse was not visible, and the cattle were too taught to sleep at the daytime. So this was the scene that the guru and his disciple observed. The two strangers were amazed by what they saw around them, and wandered around town till evening. So they were so surprised, they were so astonished, and they were wandering here and there till evening. When suddenly the whole town woke up and went about its nightly business. And what they found in that, when the dark started spreading everywhere, all the town was immersed, all the town was awoken, and they were started doing their businesses, their source of income. They were busy in that whole night. The two men were hungry. Who were these two men? The guru and his disciple. They were so hungry. Now that the shops were open, they went to buy some groceries. Groceries means foodable items. They went to buy some foodable items. To their astonishment, they found that everything cost the same, a single dudu. Whether they bought a measure of rice or a bunch of bananas, is cost a dudu. The guru and his disciple were delighted. They had never heard of anything like this. They could buy all the foods they wanted for a rupees. Now here what they found, the guru and the disciple were so surprised to see that each and every item, single item price are same. Even if they want to buy a 1 kg of rice and even a bunch of banana, a dozen of banana, both price are same. In how much? In only 1 dudus. And they were so delighted that they have ever never come across by such type of place in which the price are so equal of each and every item. If what they required a 1 rupees, and they can buy anything they want, even the most expensive or even a cheaper thing. When they had cooked and eaten, the guru realized that this was a kingdom of fools, and it wouldn't be good idea for them to stay there. When they were preparing the food, when they were cooking the food, the guru realized that this place is not so far easy, because the danger can lurking everywhere, because the foolish are so dangerous that the guru had warned his disciple not to stay here, because it's not a good idea to stay here. This is no place for us. This is no place for us. This is a not good place for us. Let's go. He said to his disciple. But the disciple didn't want to leave the place. Everything was cheap here. All he wanted was good, cheap food, the guru said. So, but the disciple was not agreed with the decision taken by the guru, as he wanted to leave this place. But the disciple wanted to leave this place because there were so many things to eat. Because everything price, each and every single thing are so cheaper. So he wanted to stay here. The guru said, they all are fools. They wouldn't last very long, and you can't tell what they will do to you next. Here, the Guru again warned him that this place is totally of fools, and they wouldn't last you long, and they will not let you live here for long, and you can't tell what they will do to next, and you are not going to imagine that what they are going to do with you. You may become in some dangers, some panic situations. But the disciple wouldn't listen to the Guru wisdom. But the disciple didn't want to hear the fact of his warning, as the Guru was so wise, so acknowledgement person. He has a great knowledge, and he was so experienced person. But the disciple thought that he, whatever the Guru was saying, it's a interesting things. He just do not want to leave this place. He wanted to stay. The Guru finally gave up and said, do you do what you want? I'm going," and left. The disciple stayed on at his field every day, banana, ghee, and rice and wheat, and grew fat like a street side scared bull. And what happened? The Guru last time asked, "Do you want to live with me, or you want to stay here?" And after the Guru had give up means, my dear students, that he lost the hope that the disciple would come, will come along with him. So the disciple stayed at this place, and the Guru had left the place. And what happened next to him? The disciple at a different type of things he bought all the things from the market and cooked it very well. What he bought? He bought ghee, he bought rice, wheat, a different type of grocery, and he became so fatty. He was overeating, and he became so fatty. He became so oversized by his figure. And what happened to next? Now he is looking like a bull, a kind of a bull, a scared bull, which generally we see in the streets. They are just fighting with each other. They are so muscleful. They are so fatty. And now such type of gesture he has converted into by eating too much things. As he was so hungry, as he was so what we can say, a lusty type of person. One bright day, a thief broke into a rich merchant house. Merchant means a businessman house. A thief had entered, and for the robbery purpose. He had made a hole in the wall. What he did? How he entered in the house? Actually, there was a big wall, so he made a hole and entered into this hole in the wall and sneaked in and looked inside what is inside this inside the house. And he was carrying on his foot. The wall of the old house collapsed on his head and killed him on the spot. Now what happening? He just about to look inside the house, and he just, as he placed his first foot inside the house, then suddenly the old wall was broken into many pieces and fell upon on him and on his head, and he killed at this spot. Who? The thief. His brother ran to the king and complained. Whose brother? The thief brother. The thief brother ran to the king and complained. Your Highness, Lord, Your Highness means that you are so respectable. I am giving you my respect. You are so dignitary. You are so high rank of person. When my brother was pursuing his ancient trade, a wall fell on him and killed him. Ancient trade, all type of business when my brother was doing, a wall was fell on him and killed him. This merchant is to blame. He should have built a good strong wall, and this is the fault, and it's all fault of this merchant who should have made a very strong or a good category of wall. You must punish this wrongdoer and compensate the family for the injustice. Now what you have to do, now you have, as my brother had not in this world anymore, so what you have to do, you have to punish this person, because due to his uh, his bad quality of wall, my brother had lost his life. So you have to also pay me the compensate means, you have seen this word when the government generally do in the today life, how the government pay their, when somebody got some tragicful death or some mishappening take place. Suppose if the train derailed, many people lost their life, the government take the initiative to pay a good amount of sum to the family member of the person who had lost who had lost his life in this tragedy. Or if suppose if there is a soldier who had sacrificed his life for the betterment of his country, then in this terms the government pay a little bit good amount of sum to his family member to survive his rest of the life, to survive their rest of the life. Even compensate means, they sometimes they offer a good job, a government job in any type of sectors, the widow of these soldiers. So here even the children also, so different type of initiative is taken by in a form of compensate. So the thief brother who was killed, the brother was asking for the compensate for the family, and because for the injustice, because it was not good. The king said, "Justice will be done. Don't worry." And at once summoned the owner of the house. And once summon, my dear, summon is a kind of a written proposal given by the court to the culprit, to the person who has been caught in some offensive activity. So it is a kind of a notice given by the court to call him to present in the court for the next for the justice. So the king had given him sympathy. Don't worry about it, and the justice will be happen. When the merchant arrived, the king questioned him, "What's your name?" Such and such, your highness. My name is such and such. What you at home when the dead man burgled your house? Burgled means burglary or robbery. Were you that time that the thief came into your house for the robbery? Yes, my lord. He broke in and the wall was weak. It fell on him. The accused pleads guilty. Your wall killed the man's brother. You have murdered a man. We have to punish you. So it is just because of your wall, because it comes in your territory, in your area. So you are known as defaulter because it's due to you that his brother had lost his life. So you are going to punish. Lord, said the helpless merchant, the innocent merchant, the poor merchant, I didn't put up the wall. It's really the fault of the man who built the wall. He didn't build it right. You should punish him. So after thinking a long period of time, the merchant said that, my highness, actually it is not my fault. It is a fault of a person who made this, the brick layer, the person who just constructed this wall. He made this wall so weak, and that is his mistake. The person had lost his life. There is no my fault, no my fault. Who is that? Who was that person? My lord, this wall was built in my father's time. I know the man. He is an old man now. he lives nearby. So actually, the person who built my wall at this time, in what time? In the time of my father, when my father was alive. In that period of time, he just made this wall, and I still knew he is living just nearby my place. The king sent out the messenger to bring the bricklayer who had built the wall. Now the king work was, the king had sent his messengers to call this bricklayer who made this wall. They brought him tied hand and foot, and he was bounded by sorry, he was bounded by a rope to his feet and his hand, as well as by a pole. You there, did you build this man wall in his father's time? Yes, my lord, I did. The king asked this question, that were you that period of time, you were the person who constructed this wall in his father's time? The reply was yes. The bricklayer said that, yes, my lord, I built this. What kind of wall is that you built? It has fallen on a poor man and killed him. And what type of wall you have built? You by your wall, a one person has lost and a person has been killed due to the wall had fallen on him. You have murdered him, and you are the person, you have murdered him. We have to punish you by death, and we will give you the punishment of death. Before the king could order the executions, my dear, it's a procedure of hanging a person on a rope by his neck. So it's a kind of a fancy, what we call it in Hindi. So the poor bricklayer pleaded, requested, please listen to me before you give your order. It's true, I built this wall and it was no good. But that was because of my mind was not on it. I remember very well a dancing girl who was going up and down the streets all day with her ankles jingling, and I couldn't keep my eyes on my mind on the wall I was building. You must get the dancing girl, I know where she lives. So now the bricklayer also used his mind. He told that actually this is not my fault, your highness. It is all about, this is the fault of when I was constructing the wall, I couldn't pay my attention on the work due to some reason. There was a dancing girl who was distracting me by the voice of jingling which she wore in her ankle. There was a ankle ring, a bracelet which she was wearing in her feet, and the sound which were really distracting me, because she had made many rounds up and down through this street, and I couldn't pay the full concentration on my work. And this is all the fault of this dancing girl, and I knew where she lives. You are right. The case depends. You must look into it. It is not easy to judge such complicated case. Let's get the dancer wherever she lives. And the king also got so interested to know that this case is going to be so complicated, so tough, so hard. So we have to be so serious, so slums, and look into this matter very carefully, as the matter is going to be so hodgepodge. This matter is going to be so becoming so bigger and complicated as well as. So we have to be so serious to look into this matter. The dancing girl, now an old woman, came trembling to the court. Trembling means shivering, like moving, like she was feeling so cold, but actually it is just a nervousness. And the dancing girl came, and she was taken to the court of the king, and in front of him the girl was the dancing girl who had become an old woman right now, because it's a very old matter. Did you walk up down the streets many years ago while the poor man was building a wall? Did you see him? Now the question asked by the king to the girl, that did you walk up and down to the streets when this bricklayer was constructing a wall, did you see him? That time you see him? Yes, my lord, I remember it very well. Yes, I knew that this man was constructing or making a wall, and I was going up and down in the street. Yes, my lord. So, you did walk up and down with your anklet jingling. You were young and distracted him. So, he built a bad wall. And what was the reply of the king? So, it is your fault and your ankle's fault that you were coming up and down in the streets, and you were so young, you were so beautiful, and the voice were really distracting. All these things were distracting this bricklayer, so he couldn't pay attention. So it is your fault, and you are going to be punished. It has fallen on a poor burglar and killed him. You have killed an innocent man. You will have to be punished. So, and due to your distraction, the man couldn't build a good wall. So the wall now had fallen on a burglar who were just who were just entering into a house for burglary. But the wall, due to the lack of wall, due to the weak of wall, the wall had fallen on this innocent man. And now you see, you just use your mind, dear students, that the king, the foolish king, was saying to this burglar, to this thief, as a innocent man. How foolish he was. She thought for a minute and said, "My lord, wait. I know now why I was walking up and down that street. I had given some gold to the goldsmith to make some jewelry for me. He was a lazy scoundrel. He made so many excuses, said he would give it now and he would give it then, and so on all day. He made me walk up and down to the house a dozen times. Actually, it is not my fault, my lord. Actually, there is a reason why I was making so round from here and there in the street. Just because of there is a particular reason. Actually, I wanted to make some jewelry, so I gave some piece of gold to a jeweler to build a piece of jewelry, a necklace, so I can wear it. But this goldsmith was so lazy. He was so monotonous. He was so bored, and he was just making me excuses after excuses to come after some time. When I reached there, and he also made us different excuses, and I also came in the next time. So that's why I made almost 12th round at that day. So it is just he was making excuses, and he was trying to pursue me after making excuses. After some time, he was just due to his excuses, he was delaying my necklace. He was delaying to make my necklace. So it is just because of his fault. That's why I was moving here and there. I was rushing here and there, and that's why the bricksman couldn't build the wall strong. So it is not my fault. It is the fault of goldsmith. Poor thing. She is absolutely right, thought the king. Winging the evidence, we have got the real culprit at last. Get the goldsmith, whoever he is hiding, at once. So here, now there was a little bit smile, there was little bit happiness in the heart of king. Now finally they got the evidence, and now they have found the real culprit. Culprit means the real accused person who is blamed, who is actually blamed that this is due to him the whole incident took place. Now call this person, and wherever he is hiding at once. The king's Belis searched for all the goldsmiths. Belis means all his servants, all his army people were searching this goldsmith who was hiding in a corner of his shop. When he heard the accusations against him, he had his own story to tell. Now, when finally the goldsmith was caught, actually he was hidden in his own shop. when he came to know that this is the reason he was bringing into the court, just because of there are some assumptions, accusers are made on him. So he told his own story. What type of story he told? My lord, he said, I am a poor goldsmith. It's true, I made this dancer come many times to my door. Yes, I'm a very poor person. I'm a very poor type of goldsmith. And I remember that I was making promises to come after some time and you will get your necklace properly flourished. I gave her excuses because I couldn't finish making her jewelry before I finished the rich merchant's orders. Actually, I couldn't make this old woman jewelry because I had many works. The works of merchant. Actually, there was a merchant work I had to complete first, and then I have to complete her work after completing the merchant jewelry. But